Well, first, the Gardee family says it's disappointing the police are seemingly not going to make their 72-hour deadline to make arrests. The police set that deadline for tonight. This after the sad murder, the tragic murder of Hilary Gardee, who was found dead outside Mbombela on Tuesday. It later transpired that she had been shot in the head. Let's go back now to that candlelight vigil, which was being held earlier this evening. Pule Letswiti Jones is there joining us now. Hello to you, Pule. We were seeing some incredibly sad scenes. Loved ones, family members, community members, political dignitaries all standing with their candles to light up what was the life of Hilary Gardee. Just give me a sense of what people were saying before we talk about this deadline.
Well, yes, Gareth, emotions were running high, and I think two things we got from the night vigil that was being held here outside the Gardee family home is that the alleged, or rather perpetrator or perpetrators behind the killing of the late Hilary Gardee should be apprehended, and that, you know, the fight against the dehumanizing and, of course, increasing pandemic of gender-based violence should be something that government places crucial attention to, saying that women are actually subject to this pandemic, and it's really getting out of control. Now, just to back that up, you'd remember the Justice Minister Ronald Lamola did visit the family just yesterday, saying that you know, the nation shouldn't throw in the towel, and that there were, of course, plans to fight gender-based violence. This was also coupled to the law that was signed into legislation in January by the President Cyril Ramaphosa, who said that there were, of course, plans to strengthen the fight against gender-based violence. But all these young and old women who were gathered here today are saying enough talking, action is needed, such as what has happened to some of the perpetrators who have been arrested before while being involved in such criminal activities. But what they're saying now is that they're hopeful that justice will prevail. As it is right now, we do know that the 72-hour activation is nearing an end, which was set by the police minister on Tuesday to say the perpetrators or perpetrator would have been arrested within that time framework. So what we do understand now is that the family briefed us just a couple of minutes ago, saying that they're optimistic that the police will still come to the fore and ensure that the perpetrators or perpetrator is arrested. However, they're slowly losing patience and their faith in the police force, saying that the 72-hour deadline is fastly approaching, and they hope that something can happen. But as it is, the South African Police Services has not communicated anything thus far. I just wanted to lend an ear to what the EFF, speaking on behalf of the family, had to say just a couple of minutes ago.
We had put our faith in the South African Police Services because we are law-abiding citizens, and that they can't meet their own target or at least give us the grace of information is concerning, because they handled this case well in its initial stages. There was the concerning mishap of simply missing a bullet in the back of a person's head, which we strongly criticized, but we did again reiterate our belief that they will conclude this case with dignity and ensure that we are able to come to a resolution with our feelings as to why did this crime happen, who did it, and that the relevant punishment is executed to them. Now that their deadline is fast approaching, we are waiting. And we don't want to hear an update that is not related to some concrete consequence or arrest of an individual. And we are not getting anything.
Getting nothing as yet, and the hours are ticking away for that deadline. Pule, let's just talk a little bit about the candlelight prayer itself from earlier when the sun was still up. Sibongile Makushe leading that candlelight prayer. What exactly did she have to say?
You know, Sibongile was quite emotional, Gareth. In fact, she was telling me, or rather telling the entire women and, of course, family, friends and organizations that were out here participating in that vigil, that she had spoken to the father of Hilary Gardee, Gardee, to say that there was some sort of, you know, emergency that had to be taken out to ensure that they can find her when she went missing on over the past weekend, and that, you know, while they were chatting together, she could sense that, you know, the sense of fear coming from the father. She actually was quite emotional this afternoon, saying that now that that's the case, now that we know that our loved one has been brutally murdered and her body was discovered at a timber plantation, shot execution style, we're hoping that the police force can actually now come to the table and ensure that someone can be apprehended. This goes back to what I just said earlier on, to say that gender-based violence remains a serious pandemic in most of our communities, and all these women that are gathered here today sending out one message one message, which is that this fight should continue. Just wanted to take a listen to what he had to say earlier on.
Your death should not go in vain. She was such a sweet little child. She had a good heart, loud and funny as her mother was. Sihlala sihleke and chasing each other around njengemntwana lokhula phambi kwami. Ayiphele lendvo. Ayiphele lendvo ye-gender-based violence. We cannot continue dying like flies in this country of ours. Sibafati, we don't feel safe in our houses anymore.
All right, Pule, let's just bring our viewers up to speed. So many people asking about the funeral arrangements who may have missed it a bit earlier. What do we know about the funeral arrangements for tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. The latest developments that are coming in right now is that the funeral arrangements will be taken in. The funeral will be happening at a church here in Kwamagugu Township in Mbombela here in Mpumalanga. At 7 p.m. the prayer will begin at the family's home. From there onwards, we will be heading to the church. From there onwards, I believe that we will be heading to the grave site. That's according to the EFF speaking on behalf of the family. The funeral will be taking place tomorrow.
For the moment, then, I'm going to say thank you very much
7
indeed.
a.m. rather, yeah.
I was about to ask, double check myself if I had that wrong as well. It is 7 a.m. Pule, quite right. Because I suddenly thought, how are we going to do this at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night? Quite right. It's been a long day, Pule, as he continues to speak to the family and friends of the late Hillary Gardee. So let me just reaffirm and re-clarify. 7 a.m. as Pule says tomorrow morning. And quick reminder as well, we'll be live here on eNCA and also live streaming on eNCA.com from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Pule Letsuiti Jones for us out in Mpumalanga.